with her probably underage and only waited till she became, because for people, they feel it's mad ironic that he got with her when she's 18. They're like, you must have been talking to her, and probably you were talking to her when she was underage. I've never really asked him about this. I would imagine he would deny it. She doesn't really, she's never really given context to it from what I've seen. But regardless, she's young. She's like 18 or 19. And Boston Richie, how old is he? Let's figure this out. Boston Richie age. He's 28. Let's see. Boston Richie girlfriend. Boston Richie girlfriend age. Okay. So yeah, so she was 18. When was this? In December 24, or December 30th, 2024, she was 18. Okay, so she was 18 then. Okay, whatever. So that's why people think that, bro, you were probably grooming her in the sense of you're talking to her before, right? Okay, so something happened. He snatches the phone from her. Just watch the video. It's over here.
That's Shorty?
Yes, it is Shorty.
That's a little young joint?
Yes.
This Tatiana girl?
Yes.
Ooh.
Don't get clipped.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, what the hell, Burton? What the hell, on? What the hell?
Yo, I hate TikTok so much. Yo, I was in Miami and I couldn't stop hearing every grown man like, what the hell? What the hell? What the hell? I'm like, yo, please. Yo, this is what I hate. Yo, I hate TikTok so much. Yo, TikTok drives one thing into the ground. I didn't even know it was a Rob 49 song. Everybody, man, woman, like I was around Selena. Selena comes up to me, Ak, you want to do a TikTok with me? I said, no. I said, first of all, y'all recorded some dumb shit and whatever. They're like, Ak, let's do a TikTok. I'm like, bro, yo, you're lucky I'm even acknowledging your presence right now. No egotistical shit, but you know what been through with this person. By the way, she was decent. She was cool. She drove me around with her little cyber truck, brought me to the airport, all that. She was actually a good host. I'm not even gonna lie to you. But yeah, she asked me to do some TikTok. I'm like, how do I do a TikTok? I've never done a TikTok in my life. She was like, oh, well, you just got to do this thing, and we're gonna play the song. And I'm like, what song? They're like, have you heard the What the Helly song? And I'm like, I've never heard that song in my life. What are you talking about? And after I said that, every person I saw in Miami, no matter what happened, somebody tripping and like stub their toe. What the helly? What the hell? I'm like, oh my God, I hate TikTok. Yo, TikTok is a cancer, bro. Trump, we got to ban it. And I'm on TikTok. I got like damn it, we approaching 2 million followers, but God damn it, it might got to get banned, bro. That's just a cancer. They all just have the same people repeating the same dumb shit. What the helly? What the helly? I'm like, oh my God, could y'all stop? Bro, it gave me a headache. I'm sorry. Anyway, so hearing these people who are, I guess they're in the car recording this, just say that, I'm like, oh, that's the worst part of Miami. Anyway, okay, so this is Boston Richie, his little girlfriend right here.
Ooh. Don't get clipped.
All right.
The hell, on?
Okay, so he grabs her phone.
Oh. The hell, on? Oh. What the hell, Burton? That's Shorty?
Yes, it is Shorty.
That's a little young joint?
Yes.
This Tatiana girl?
Yes.
Ooh.
Don't get clipped.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, what the hell, Burton? What the hell, on? What the hell?
Oh.
No.
You don't record that.
Wait, what happened?
Oh.
No.
Okay. So then we find out supposedly that
Tatiana Champ.
Boston Richie, his girlfriend filed assault and family violence charges against him. I don't know if she did this or maybe somebody, sometimes in these domestic violence things, somebody could do it on their behalf. Essentially, let me find a better image of this. They claimed he choked the shit out of her multiple times. Okay? And I want to be very clear in what was supposedly alleged right here. Where is it? I had posted it too. Where is it at? It's on my page. Give me a second. We're going to find it. Okay, here we go. So they said, sorry, let me make this a little smaller. So they said, a little bit smaller. Okay. So they said Tati, who's 19, aka Tatiana Charles, has filed charges against Boston Richie, who's 28. The chargers, I guess they mean charges, conclude or include? What? Assault, family violence, impeding breathing. Tati stated that the defendant, Boston Richie, took her phone during an argument, which we saw on camera, choked her approximately 20 times in 2 hours, applying pressure for 6 to 10 seconds at a time. This was the actual thing. So it says, in the name of the authority of the state of Texas, before me and the blah, 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 Jalen Taheen Foster is the defendant, blah, 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 on March 30th, therefore lawfully, caused bodily injury to Tatiana, Okay. So basically they're saying, and then they're going to go down here to explain it. They're going to say that he was her boyfriend for 1 or 2 years. The defendant grabbed her phone from her hands, began arguing with her, later took her other phone. I guess she had 2 phones. Why a woman got 2 phones? Whatever. The complainant stated that the defendant had taken 2 separate vehicles to arrive, blah, blah. She said when she got there, she asked the defendant for her phone back. The complainant stated that when she got out of the vehicle, the defendant had exited his vehicle, pushed her to the second row of the vehicle. Here at the location, began to choke her with both hands around her neck. He stated that the defendant had, on 2 occasions during the assault, pushed her to the floor on the vehicle, used his knee and body weight, Okay, for approximately 6 to 10 seconds during the strangulation. Complainant stated that she believed she had lost consciousness, felt dizzy, lightheartedness, tense, weak, blah, blah, blah. Vomited 2 times in the vehicle. The complainant stated that she felt as if she was going to die. She says, and apparently Boston Richie said, if you call the police, I might as well kill you. And when she tried to get out the car, he says, you're not getting out of this car. And she said there was also 2 other people in the car as it happened, and they didn't stop until a mutual friend of both of them got in the car and prevented the defendant from continuing the assault. Okay. Complainant stated that she was 4 to 8 weeks pregnant, and the defendant's aware of the pregnancy. She says she wanted to press charges against him. And yeah. They said the complainant said the defendant grabbed her neck with both hands, tried to sit when she tried to sit up in the vehicle, apply pressure. She couldn't breathe. Okay. All right. Now, interesting. Chat, I'm probably going to give a take that y'all probably not going to be too fond of, but I'm going to give it nonetheless. And the reason why I'm going to give this take, because I was not even going to cap with y'all. I was up in a club. His music came on, right? And this was me. This is me right here up in the club. I was with 6ix9ine them. I fuck with Boston Richie. Y'all niggas can't cancel my nigga. Hey, yo, cancel my brother. Y'all don't trip me. What up? Okay. And that's his song playing in the background. I'm going to tell you why I said that. Now, I'm not going to comment on what he allegedly did or what was done or what was not done. I'm gonna just give you a baseline thing that I personally believe. And y'all could say, and I hope y'all could be reasonable. Y'all could say, nah, nigga, get out of here with this. Or y'all could be like, okay, I get it. Chat, I don't think the internet is nobody's parents. If a woman says she got abused by a nigga and she go back to that nigga, I think I should mind my motherfucking business. That's all I'm gonna tell y'all. Now I get it. There's cycles of abuse. I'm not over here to dispute none of that shit. But anytime I see a woman say, that nigga put his hands on me, and I see that woman back with that nigga, what it tells me is that I need to mind my motherfucking business. I'm not going to go hard and chastise a nigga when that woman is still up under that nigga. Okay, you might be saying what I'm talking about. After this happened, the woman who claimed Boston Richie choked her argued with his other side chick for 2 days straight about who he tricks on more. And she was claiming she was in control of blah, 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 blah. And I said, you just said he choked you damn near to death. Why are you arguing with this side chick about, chat, respectfully, I'm not here calling that woman a liar. I'm not here calling him an abuser or saying he's innocent. What I'm here to say is that when I think the internet gotta learn to mind their motherfucking business. I'm sorry. I'm gonna mind my motherfucking business when I see somebody present evidence or speak to the police saying I'm a victim, and I'm like, all right, well, cool, we down with the victims, and then I see you back with said man. You're back with him, and I don't care what reason you're back with him for. Maybe it's the money he's giving you. I don't give a fuck what it's for. You're a grown-ass adult, and I just don't think it's my job to be online, to be crusading for justice for you, or to cancel a man when you clearly are gonna be back with the man. That's all I'm saying. You get what I'm saying? If y'all want to go be like, all right, we got to cancel Boston Richie, go do it. But she's with the nigga still. She with the nigga still. I don't got no comment about what they got going on. It ain't none of my motherfucking business. And now this is where I got to implore y'all, and I know we're in the age of this cancellation shit. Y'all all know y'all got that one homeboy. Every time he go out with his homegirl, they always fighting. You've seen her put his hands on him. She put his hands on she put his hands on him. He put his hands back on her. Sometimes you used to get him like, what the fuck y'all doing, bro? Yo, we had the bowling now. Y'all niggas tripping, bro. You tell him like, yo, bro, you gotta leave her, bro. Like, yo, this shit not healthy, bro. Then you see him the next day. You go over to watch the game. Him and her madly in love, cuddled up. You look like the asshole. You know what end up happening? Cause you told your mans, yo, bro, you gotta leave that chick, man. Like, yo, she wilding in public. She putting her hands on you. Like, she bringing out a side of you that we don't never see. Like, dog, this is no good, bro. Bro, we don't want to be here breaking up y'all fights. The next time y'all see them, they madly in love. He done told her what you said. She mad at you. You gotta mind your motherfucking business. I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. You gotta mind your motherfucking business. I'm not agreeing with none of this shit. I'm just saying, anytime I see a woman, now granted, this is on him though. He gotta realize there's always a Cassie button. Because think about the Cassie shit. Everybody is now talking about Cassie. Be like, yo, what? You think nobody saw Diddy backhand her one time? But they knew Cassie was going to get right back there. He just got to know he need to chill because at a certain point, I don't know if he'll ever be in that stature. When they really done, she might be like, yo, man, let me try to get my Cassie back, whatever. But you can't save a, you can't ride for a victim who, call it Stockholm Syndrome or whatever you want to call it. You can't ride for somebody who's always going to go back to that nigga and who loves the nigga. The thing with Rihanna, and I think she tried to go back to Chris Brown. Y'all remember the Rihanna shit? She tried to kind of go back. But then she stood her ground. She ain't fully go back. But when I see shit like this is a hood relationship. I got no comment about it. And if y'all want me as a platform or as whoever to make some statement like I'm going to cancel Boston Richie, I'm going to tell y'all I want nothing to do with that. That's some hood booger shit. And just like how she go back to him, whatever they do, that's on them. So that's my opinion. And I know some of y'all going to be like, y'all not going to like it. But just to be clear, because I've seen some people who are upset at me, I'm not co-signing his actions with the woman, but I know how shit with like this is, they still together. Y'all don't believe me they together? I ain't even know this side chick. Apparently, Boston Richie is the biggest trick on earth. Well, not really, because he ain't the richest, but Boston Richie, some girl named Ari, and bruh, trust me, I was watching this on this shit. This shit was just like crazy. Here we go. Look.
It was worth damn tattoo train.
Okay, here we go. So these are the this is his side chick. So this is after the wait, which one's top? I can't tell, bro.
Exposing is real. Then she posts up Ari's mugshot.
So remember, this is after she said she got beat up by Boston Richie. She went back on the gram to beef with a side chick, basically claiming who Boston Richie does more for. This is hood booger love, bro. You got to stay your ass on out of this type of shit, bro. Trust me, bro. You know what I mean? We ain't co-signing abuse or none of that, but you got to stay your ass the fuck up on out of shit like this, man. Listen, while you over here like with a pitchfork like, cancel Boston Richie, she sucking that nigga back off, bro. She getting piped out by him, bro. She up in Chanel get like he's blowing a bag on her and she smiling from ear to ear, nigga. You better stay up on out of this hood shit, bro. Look.
Question: what you mean by that, Ari? Do you care to respond?
So this is Boston Richie girl. This is her shit right here. She clowning his side chick. So she's the main girl beefing with his side chick even after he allegedly beat her up. Or not beat her up, choked her out.
TikTok and people was asking her for relationship advice. So that's basically her reason for going to G3.
Okay, so this is where I checked out, chat, and this is why I said, like, I'm not jumping in with none of y'all cancellation shit. They start going and posting cash apps from the nigga. And then, I'm sorry, it's just hard for me to. So the side chick said, yeah, your man sent me $30,000. Right? This is the money right here. She said, you sent me $30,000. Said, now, what I can post is your nigga send me $30K. Remember, this is after the choking. Right? This is after the choking.
Okay.
And look, she's actually going to respond. And she says, and woo lottie, I would never be 18 plus living with my mom. My ID will have my actual address. By the way, also, I do blame this woman's parents. I ain't gonna lie. The Tati girl. Yo, if you're 18 and you're allowing your daughter to be with a nigga who's 30 and things are happening that maybe not up to your liking, don't expect the internet to go help you. You go step in. What the fuck? So just like she said, my Zelles was edited. Okay, so they're beefing over cash apps and shit like that. And then the other girl says, so this is why, again, I got to give you out the context of why I said, whatever they got going on, I'm not involved in no cancellation, bro. I fuck with his music. I don't know how he is as a lover, as a partner, but this is hood booger shit. Let them sort it out like that. This is what the girl Boston Richie choked out said. The hoe more worried about the nigga than I am. Get a grip. You got nothing to show for shit. Got nothing to talk about but a wet ass and some invisible bags. You was promised. You should be ashamed. You have nothing to post but old messages of a man. I never seen a bitch so eager to eat a nigga dick, but I guess the other girl called him a child molester. I don't know what the fuck. This is like some weird shit. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I'm confused by Ari because she's insecure, envious, and obsessed with him.
Anyway.
Her and the moral open up.
All right.
So
all right. I know you don't care about the nitty gritty details. The point is this. Shorty's still with a nigga, man. So, yo, stay out of people's business, man. At a certain point, you ever been that friend that you starting to take sides and then you realize that they end up cool and they both start disliking you because you took side? Yeah, I'm good. So whatever Boston Richie got going on with his girlfriend, I hope their parents or her parents act like a parent, because if your 18-year-old daughter is with another man and if he's possibly abusive and you're not doing anything, that's on you. But don't come to the internet for sympathy, please, okay? Especially when y'all are getting back together every single day, all right? All right. All right. Did y'all see this? So apparently Baka Not Nice has responded to Kendrick. And you know, Kendrick said, Baka got a weird case. Why is he around? Okay. Now we get to figure out what Baka feels about this. All right. Let me read any donations that came in or whatever, or any. Hold on. Give me a second. I got to pull the chat up. But yeah, Baka Not Nice, one of Drake's, right-hand guys, have officially responded to Kendrick Lamar. And this is his response, okay?
At first, my first initial thing was to respond and respond quickly,
Yeah.
very efficiently, and very to the point.
Very directly.
Yeah, and but like it was like it started brewing in me because where I come from, like that shit doesn't happen. Like you can't just call out a man and not have paperwork to back up your talks. Like that is it's ludicrous. And then like to see like a whole nation behind it and celebrating it like it's a true story is unbelievable because everybody has to understand. Like I have a kid. Drake has a kid. You know what I mean? So like making accusations like that are like ridiculous and out of this world. You know what I'm saying? So, but like what I was gonna tell you is this: like I was building up a lot of anger and stuff like that, but then I got a call, and I don't know why I got this call. It's like God said something to him or something, but the boy, sorry, it might not have been a call, it might have been a text message, but he messaged me and he's like, yo, I know what you're feeling. I know you as an individual and I know how you get down, but I'm just letting you know, like, don't listen to the noise because it's noise. And if you go back and look at all these people that are saying things or having anything to say, they're not even actual real people. They're like bots.
Exactly.
So like, don't let that shit bother you, bro.
Facts.
Like, and you know what? Like, I mean, it's not a good thing, but they're calling your name. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, you know, like, they're gonna get over this crap because they're gonna realize that it's crap, and then they're gonna go do their own research. And when you do your own research, you're gonna be like, "Wow, this guy made up a whole story about something that isn't even true," and it makes you look weird to me. I don't know.
It does.
But I want to say one thing to America, and y'all need to like get yourself together because, yo, making accusations on people, serious accusations like that, you need to have paperwork. That is the rule, like number one rule that everybody goes by. So don't switch up.
All right, I'm gonna be honest, and I think I'm a fair person. Baka, I think this is garbage. I'm glad you spoke on it, but this is not a current case. Fuck this whole weird case. Why is he around? Shit. Like, what Kendrick was alluding to is not a current situation. It's something old, and I think you could explain it. You could have just literally explained it. Now, I have an understanding what I believe it is, and I'm gonna look it up on stream live. I've never done it before. This is what I kind of understand it to be. It's kind of like pimping, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like in colloquial terms, right? Like he was in Toronto. He was just kind of, or I think it was Toronto, and he was dealing with some women, and he was kind of like being a pimp, right? Now, granted, obviously pimping and pandering, like what they have in Las Vegas, kind of almost like borderlines what some people then could say is sex trafficking, right? All right, we get it. But like, we all know American culture. We know even hip-hop culture. Like, Snoop Dogg paraded as a pimp for many fucking years. The pimp, the idea of pimping, isn't really seen as a negative thing. So if it's pimping he got locked up for, I'm going to be honest with you, like, that's how I would explain it if that's what it is. Now, I don't know fully. So I'm going to actually just Google it right now, and I'm going to try to figure it out. But that's kind of how it's always been explained to me, right? Like, it was kind of this element of, you know, a woman or women who were kind of like escorts, and he had some power or control over them. But nothing like, yo, he was like forcing himself on them, like, not to my knowledge, right? That's all I've ever known. Like, it was kind of like pimping / you know what I mean, like supplying these women to men, right? That's what I kind of know. Let's look it up now. Like, somebody's got to have the paperwork. Let's figure it out. Baka Not Nice case. We'll just look it up on YouTube. Somebody says the truth. No. We want a qualitative, like, you know, understanding. By the way, there is like a long form part of this interview. I don't know if this was the majority. It looked like this was the only place that he responded to that portion of it. But he did do an interview. I think I see the interview here is 16 minutes. How can we find? Okay, shit, I did a video on it before. Okay, So Baka spent 13 years in jail, and then he spent 6 months in jail. I did a video on it. Let's go back to my video, right?
That's what Richie Akademiks said. I might declare it a holiday when Baka get back on the road. But you know how that should go? Yes, we do know how that should go. Okay, Champagne Poppy, today we found out. Now, if you guys don't know, there's a member of Drake's entourage, the whole OVO family, that goes by the name of Baka. He was actually sentenced to 6 months in jail. But here's the thing. He's not going to go to jail. The reason he's not going to go to jail, Drake is the real six god. Now, I'm playing around. That's a joke. But the reason he won't go to jail is because he's already credited for serving 11 months in jail. Now, you're probably wondering, who the fuck cares?
Okay. So we're going to find this article because this article says Drake's human trafficking buddy. Okay? All right. Last year, Travis Savory was charged with 6 crimes in connection with the human trafficking of a 22-year-old woman. I'm going to cut my own video. By the way, old Ak, GOAT, right? Travis Savory, 22-year-old woman. I just want to read what, see if I can figure out what the allegations are. Complex has an article about it. Hopefully they kept it fair. It said, what is Baka Not Nice's weird case that Kendrick Lamar references on Not Like Us? So it says Kendrick alludes to Drake's associate Baka Not Nice unsavory pass on his #1 song on the Hot 100 disc called Not Like Us. But what exactly is the weird case he's bringing up? On K-Dot's Thunderous Not Like Us makes some serious allegations against Drake and the OVO Sound roster. Among them is that Travis Savory, a rapper and former security guard, otherwise known as Baka Not Nice, he says, say Drake, I hear him like him young. You better never go to Cell Block 1. To any bitch that like him and they in love, just make sure you hide your little sister from him. They tell me Chubbs, he's the only one that get the hand-me-downs. In party, he had the party play with his nose now. Baka, he got a weird case. Why year round? Certified lover boy, certified PDFs. Okay, who is Baka? Let's figure this out. And by the way, I'm hoping, Complex, I hope y'all didn't snake, again, I'm using this for historical perspective. I could look up all these things myself, but I hope you don't have an angle and you're keeping it fair. Baka Not Nice is a Toronto-based rapper and a longtime friend of Drake. He previously had a career as a security guard, but he's since been signed to OVO Sound. Okay? What's his connection to Drake? He's been serving as Drake's bodyguard before making several contributions to the Toronto rapper's music. He made his first appearance on one of Drake's songs in 2013. Nothing Was the Same. And, which song was he on? He followed up with appearance on More Life and Scorpion. He signed to OVO Sound in 2017. He dropped 2 solo releases through the label 4 Milli in 2018 and No Long Talk in 2019. What was he charged with? What's the weird case that Kendrick's been talking about? In 2014, Baka was arrested for allegedly forcing a 22-year-old woman into prostitution. The following year, per the Toronto Sun, he pled guilty to assaulting the woman and failing to comply with conditions to the unrelated firearm charges. The procuring for prostitution and human trafficking charges against him were dropped because the woman refused to testify. So how did he spend 13 years in jail? According to authorities, the victim got into an argument with Baka when she found him passed out drunk as food burned in the oven. She told him off for falling asleep with food cooking, and he allegedly pushed her to the floor. The woman allegedly worked as an escort and was reportedly in the relationship with him at the time of the incident. Did he serve time in prison? Let's listen to that or read that. He was sentenced to 6 months in prison following his guilty plea, but he avoided the time because he was behind bars because he spent 10 months in custody following his 2014 arrest. Upon his 2015 release, Drake celebrated the news in a since then deleted post. Says something in the air today. A lot of good things happening at once. But this one means the most. Been waiting for 11 months. Baka finally home. Also on his Know Yourself track, Drake famously raps, I might declare the holiday as soon as Baka get on the road. I feel like this is still unclear. What did he serve 13 years in jail for? Baka Not Nice, 13 years in jail. That's what we want to know. Here we go.
I went back to prison like 3 more times. Drake embraced me, and Drake was the love child of the city. Why are you with this guy? I hear what you guys are saying, but I know who he really is.
Yeah,
and I know he's not doing all these things that you guys are talking about. The white lady, Lynn, she turned me into a rock star while I was in prison.
In what sense?
She came to visit me one day and she's like, is there anything I can do? She knows I was innocent. So I was like, yo, mom, I need weed. Next week, my mom brought me a fucking half ounce of weed. And when she came back, I gave her the money. And she was like, what the fuck? I'm like, yeah. Both of our heads was like, ching-ching. Yeah. She's like, you can make a lot of money, mom. Yeah.
Okay.
I was out for 30 days. And then I got charged with attempted murder. Drake embraced me and Drake...
Okay. So this is a story about getting 13 years in jail, because we want to figure out, did he do 13 years in jail for human trafficking?
Because I think there's a lot of lessons to be learned. You know, we have a lot of young men that listen to this podcast. You know, and I think that there could be a lot of value there. So,
By the way, shout out to Money Buys Happiness. Y'all do an amazing podcast. I know y'all are Canadians. I fuck with y'all heavy. I've seen a bunch of your other podcasts too. First, I saw you guys with Kyle. Salute to y'all.
to us about that experience, how it came to be, what it was like the whole thing. We kind of want the whole run through.
So basically, like when I was 18, so it's crazy. So at one point I went on a rampage with my little buddies in the streets. We were just like doing a whole bunch of robberies, armed robberies, just going crazy as kids, you know. And anyways, long story short, I ended up getting caught.
Okay.
And I ended up taking the charge.
Okay.
Like they didn't have anything on any of my other friends, but they wanted me to roll over on them. But I was like, yo, it was me. And then I made up names. And the names that I made up were like cars. I was like, yeah, my friend Audie. And I just said Vet. I said Vet or some Corvette or some
whatever
shit.
came to your mind.
You know what I mean? And I just threw them off. So long story short, all my friends got off and I ended up going to the penitentiary as a teenager.
And how old were you when you went in?
I was 18.
18.
Wow.
And I'm going into a place where like it's just criminal.
It's grimy. Yeah.
And at that time, it wasn't like now, man. It's like, yo, you respected your elders at that time.
It's true. Different world.
And guys that were doing things at that time, you really respected them. So it wasn't about trying to be a tough guy all the time, because that didn't work back then, because you would get checked.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? On some
Facts.
real, like, there's no Hollywood shit going on. You're getting checked, bro.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had to learn quick.
So you got you did 13
No,
years.
I got 2 years, 7 months.
Okay.
For those armed robberies.
Okay.
Got out. I was out for 30 days. And then I got charged with attempted murder.
Okay, that's where everything changed.
Convicted me for a crime I did not do. My friend did.
You know what's so interesting about like all this shit? I swore that he was doing 13 years because of this supposed weird case. In hip hop, it's so like normalized murder, robberies. Let's be honest. That should be a weird case too, but not in hip hop. A little body, a homicide, attempted robbery, attempted shooting. Who gives a fuck? So when Kendrick's saying Baka got a weird case, I've always heard he did 13 years in jail. I used to think he did 13 years for something with a woman. Not necessarily, he did a robbery and he got an attempted murder and that's why he did 13 years. So we haven't even got to the whole thing about the weird case, but we're going to get to it. So, okay, the 13 years got nothing to do with it. Okay.
Did it, but I didn't rat on him again. And I got 13 and a half years.
Wow.
So that's where all the street cred and all that stuff, because everybody from my city, my hood knew that I actually went to prison for something I didn't do.
Yeah.
So, there's a respect for that. There's a respect.
Yeah.
I don't know about now because it's getting so weird.
It's different,
But like,
But in terms of like, okay, 2 years, 7 months is one thing.
Yeah.
But when you get convicted for 13 years,
Yeah, you feel like your life is over.
what? Yeah, I want walk us through what that feeling,
That moment too that you even
like
found
that
out.
you
maybe.
that you find that out.
Listen, I was in court. I was in court and my dad was in court, and I put this in my song, one of my songs that I have. I don't know, did I release a song? Give Me That Work. If you guys listen to Give Me That Work, there's a section where I'm talking about where were you when I got the 13 years? Where were you when I was down below, you know? Basically saying, yo, you guys didn't see my dad when he was in the courtroom when the judge said 13 years, 9 months or some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was just a trying time. When the judge said that, it didn't hit me. I'll be real with you, until I got back to the prison, because they do that. They give you your time, and then They handcuff you. They bring you back downstairs
Okay.
in the bullpen, and then you get shipped back to the detention center where you're doing your time until, you know. So it didn't hit me until I got in my cell that night because I'm around people, so your energy's
Still
high.
You think
and
everything's
shit.
okay.
Like,
Yeah.
Okay, so we kind of get a picture of what he's saying. He did 13 years, robberies and an attempted murder. Now, granted, chat, we're not doing paperwork pull-up today. Also, I haven't really done a lot of paperwork pull-ups on Toronto stuff. It's a little bit different than obviously the U.S. court systems, but you know, probably same principle. Let's see if he talks about this you know, weird case.
Movies, all this shit. They get the charge. The guy, you know, he has all these
past that can be very.
Like you came in, you're getting
massive.
knocked out.
Yeah.
So I'm just on that mentality that, yo, call him, and when he gets here, I'm just gonna kick.
Okay, here we go.
You know,
Wow.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the pressure that they put on him
Yeah.
was a lot.
Crazy.
So for him to just
Here we go.
like 3 more times, not because I did anything, just because they hated me.
Yeah. You're on a
And
list now.
Yeah, and make it worse, Drake embraced me, and Drake was the love child of the city.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Why are you with this guy? You know what
Yeah.
this guy does? You know
Wow.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the pressure that they put on him
Yeah.
was a lot.
Crazy.
So for him to just steadfast and be like, yo, that's my friend. I hear what you guys are saying, but I know who he really is.
Yeah,
and I know he's not doing all these things that you guys are talking about.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
And when you're in there though, like, how are you staying up to date with what's going on, like outside?
What's going on is Snoop, and I'm here to announce that.
Okay.
And there's no other way for me to say it, brother.
And like, in what sense?
She like
I'm trying to figure out
something
the
I
part.
didn't do.
Yes.
It was the hardest thing.
Oh, here we go.
But hold on. All jokes aside, guys.
Just
Yo, like I said, I got 13 and a half years
Yeah.
for something I didn't do.
Yes.
Oh,
It
he's
was the
talking about
hardest
that.
thing. So, like I told you, my mom realized that I was going downhill, depression and shit. And I need to tell you guys this. If I didn't, because I'm not glorifying it, you know? Because it sounds sick, it sounds hype, you know, all that shit. I'm still not going to glorify it, right?
Okay.
But I had to do that to keep my sanity.
Yeah.
If I had to, like, it was a job.
Yeah.
It's something I had to wake up and keep, I had to make sure everything was in order every day.
It gave you a schedule.
It
like
gave
shit
me a
to
schedule.
do.
I have in mind. I got 13 years. It doesn't mean that I did 13 years.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I was innocent. So, like, I would say, like, in year 7 or 8, the appeals contacted us and told me that I won my appeal.
Oh shit.
So I had to go back to the detention center. My lawyer came and saw me. He says, I have good news, I have bad news. I'm like, okay, what is it? And this is December, like, 16th.
Okay.
Okay? Right before Christmas. It's fucking cold outside.
Yeah.
I'm back in the bucket with fucking minors. I'm a grown man now. I'm hardened. I'm living in penitentiary lifestyle, running an operation,
Yeah.
going and moving anywhere I want in that facility, because that's the difference between a penitentiary and a detention center. A detention center, you are escorted everywhere throughout that building with guards.
Okay.
You are never walking alone by yourself.
Yeah.
You are treated like an animal,
Wow.
period.
Okay.
Okay? In the penitentiary, it might sound crazy to say, but you're treated like a man.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, yeah,
If
yeah.
I have a fucking dentist appointment, they send me a fucking, it's a slip. We call it a slip.
Mhm.
Every morning when you get up, like every range, when you get up, you wake up, you go into the mess hall, the kitchen, and there's a board and all the slips. There's like little tags. Everybody's name's on it. Where if you have an appointment, that's where your shit is. So everybody wakes up in the morning and always goes over there to see if they have an appointment.
What's going on? Yeah.
So if you have a slip, you go to your appointment. I kind of forgot what I was trying to say to you guys first.
No. So we're saying like, so you then the appeals comes and then you go from
I'm
the
trying to hear about this weird case. That's not what he's talking about then.
penitentiary.
Difference between the penitentiary and
You had 13. Yeah.
amazing. You'll get time served and go home today. The bad news is it'll probably take me another year to get you another trial, and you're gonna have to go through a whole new trial. And we don't know how these people are gonna, deal treat you.
deal
We
with
don't
you,
know what
yeah.
the jury's gonna. You cannot.
Yeah,
A
you never
jury's
know.
a jury. You're home.
Yeah. Fuck that.
I didn't plead guilty to attempted murder because they know I didn't do it, I pled guilty to discharge of a firearm. Just discharge of a firearm in the air.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with the actual incident.
Okay.
Okay.
And I got time served and released.
Yeah.
So then after 7 years?
7, 8. Like
7,
8 years. Yeah.
8 years
yeah.
you were out.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
And then I guess knowing that now while you're in the bin and you're saying, okay, I'm about to get out. What are you thinking now? What are you thinking about when you get out?
What the fuck am I gonna do?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What the
Did
fuck
you
am
did
I
you
gonna
think
do?
about that at all while you were
I
in
did.
it?
I did. My brother ended up in jail with me too, and
I don't think he ever talks about this idea of him being a human trafficker.
I went back to prison like.
Let's Google that. Baka. Because I always thought that's why Drake got the backlash. Oh, he did no jumper? Oh.
So you get out, and then how do you end up meeting Drake? Like, how long did it take until you get out? This ends up happening, and you sort of start moving in a different direction.
Pretty quick because when I went to prison, I went to prison with the guys in my era.
Right.
I grew up with, and that I can figure out things. I even tried to do the label thing, like I was telling you about.
Mm-hmm. That skill sort of on deck, but then meanwhile you're just not.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right after Kendrick Lamar's pop, but I think that we kind of get where he's getting at.
Baka served on Drake's security detail for a bit before being signed to OVO Records. Now, first of all, I don't know what it is about rappers and their security team. There's a very high profile case and a certain rapper's head of security is at the center of the investigations. Now, maybe I've just never had security before, but I do feel like it's a little strange to be so buddy-buddy with people who are like supposed to be serving as your security. Back in 2014, Baka was accused by his on and off again girlfriend that he forced her into spicy work and also took her money.
Okay, so Chad, this weird case that they're saying Baka has is not that Baka is like some rapist. Is that Baka was trying to be a pimp. That Baka, whatever, again, I'm not saying pimping is cool, but we do have to understand the culture that everybody has acknowledged and not everybody has shamed people who have claimed that they're pimps, right? Like we have to realize Snoop Dogg paraded around as a pimp with nobody saying nothing to him. We got to realize people in the culture have accepted songs like, I don't know what you heard about me, but I'm a motherfucking PIMP. Like it's you know, I don't know if we're looking at and saying pimping or catching a charge for pimping is a weird case. Basically, gangbanging is weird as well, because it's like, yeah, no one. Do you get what I'm saying? Pimping is kind of upheld in hip hop, same as gangbanging. If one's a weird case, if you catch a charge associated with it, the other should be a weird case.
I think it's really interesting that the woman who initially accused Baka of forcing her into prostitution, who was also going to bring human trafficking charges against him, then dropped those charges, only keeping the assault charges. And it's interesting because her lawyer says that, you know, she was not coerced, that they were not in contact, but she did move out of Toronto while this was happening.
Baka Not Nice was not signed to OVO Records until 2017, so it begs the case, why is Baka Not Nice still around if Drake knew about this case coming into his record deal? Now, immediately after Baka Not Nice's release from jail, Drake released a statement saying he could have gone many other ways in life, but he chose to focus.
We get into it. Make sure you guys hit that like about Baka Not Nice having a weird case, and Kendrick Lamar wanted to know why is he still around. Now, when you look into this Baka Not Nice case, according to the reports, on Tuesday, June 10, 2014, the Toronto police started an investigation into a human trafficking occurrence. It is alleged that a 22-year-old woman was forced into prostitution after being threatened by a man. According to the police, The man intimidated the woman into giving him the money she earned from selling the nons, as well as taking her debit card and using
selling the nons. That means selling pussy.
Intimidated the woman into giving him the money she earned from selling the nons, as well as taking her debit card and using her PIN to withdraw money from her account. Now, on the same day the investigation started, at around 9:30 p.m., Baka Not Nice was arrested and charged with the following: trafficking person receiving material benefits, exercise control, other than death threats, assault, and failed to comply. According to police, the 22-year-old woman, who was reportedly Baka Not Nice on and off again girlfriend, became involved in a heated argument when allegedly Baka got drunk and passed out at home while french fries were burning in the oven. According to reports, the woman started yelling at him about it, and Baka's response was to push her to the floor, where she allegedly lay in shock, crying for an hour. Baka would apologize, and the woman, who works as an escort, will call police on him the following week. Now, during Baka Not Nice's trial, the human trafficking and prostitution charges were eventually dropped. According to the report, the woman had since moved and hadn't informed police of her new address. She hadn't been subpoenaed to testify because the police couldn't locate her. Now, it's also noted that the woman said she hadn't had contact with Baka and she wasn't being pressured not to testify, but who's to say that someone with money and influence...
Okay, so essentially, Baka had these allegations of human trafficking, possibly sex trafficking, and prostitution. The woman in question doesn't want to testify. Who knows, for whatever reason. And he ends up pleading kind of like guilty to assault. Like, basically, yeah, I pushed her. However, there's a stigma that lays on him because he was accused of this human trafficking stuff. Yeah, that sounds odd. And I'm not trying to like just back this guy up. I'm just saying this whole idea of like having a weird case while he's around. I thought he got convicted for human trafficking or sex trafficking. It seems like that's not the truth.
Once Six God didn't pay her off to disappear. Who's to say that, right? But during the trial, Baka Not Nice did maintain his innocence throughout the entire case. Baka Not Nice would eventually plead guilty to assault on his ex, and in exchange some of his other unrelated firearm charges were dismissed, but the court still handed him a 6-month sentence. But by then he was already in jail for 11 months and he would walk out the box. Now, like I said, Baka Not Nice has always maintained his innocence, and Drake always stood by him, even going as far as saying, I might declare it a holiday as soon as Baka get back on the road. And he did receive a lot of backlash for that, man. They tried to cancel Drake in the past, if y'all don't remember, saying that he supports human trafficking, dude.
Yeah, so he definitely got convicted for assaulting a woman, but he got charged with human trafficking but never convicted. By the way, Drake, he showed up to WWE with Baka. Like, I don't know if y'all seen that. This is Baka to the left, and this is Drake right here. And that's Yachty. Yeah, Drake clearly still fucking with him. Now, if you ask me, I'm not gonna blame Kendrick totally for this narrative, because there has been a fucked up narrative about Baka saying he's a human trafficker. And until today, I didn't know he was never convicted of human trafficking. We only know that he was accused of human trafficking. So I'm today years old realizing he was never convicted. But I can't blame this on Kendrick. Just because this narrative kind of existed before, and I think Kendrick probably just piggyback on it. Like, yeah, they made it worse, of course, but was he the one who started it? No. Let me see. Let's see.
First initial.
Okay. Anyway, yo, the point is this, man. Baka, I think you did a horrible job of explaining this yourself. If I think I'm right with this, all you got to say, bro, yo, people think I did 13 years for touching a woman inappropriately. That's not the truth. I did 13 years for robberies and a attempted murder. In hip hop, people love that. Like, trust me, nobody's ever gonna be like, "Oh, I can't fuck with you. You did a murder." They're gonna love you more. Then you just gotta be honest about the situation. Hey, listen, there's this woman that I was dating at the time. Yeah, I was trying to get into my pimp shit. She reported me. Or I don't even know if he has to admit that because she's not pressing charges. So really, I have no idea how much merit this whole Baka got a weird case, why is he around. But we've established that because that's just Kendrick's thing. Like, Kendrick made up a narrative and he's going to stick to the narrative. You know, you could show all the proof in the world. It's not like he's going to come back around and be like, nah, you know what I think? Like, he doesn't have a weird case. He just has a fucked up. No, he's never going to change his mind. Like, you know, so I'm wondering why the hell Baka is even entertaining half of this shit. Given the fact that he's not going to say nothing to make it better.
So Boston Richie and Baka Not Nice, man. I'm gonna keep it straight a beam, bro. Like, Boston Richie, for me, he can't be surprised that he's in the situation that he's in. His girlfriend, or soon to be BM, is 18. He's like 28 years old. You're 10 years older than this girl. Or she's 19, you're 9 years older than this girl. Or something. Bro, you shouldn't be surprised you're messing with a kid. So of course the relationship is gonna be childish. And the Baka Not Nice situation, man, I don't even think he should have talked about it, especially if he actually does have a weird case and he's doing weird stuff. Because now he's gonna make it more like publicized, more people are gonna look into it. And you know how everyone is with their case. They always try and play off little stuff about their case and lie about every single thing and play victim in their case. Tell people, really dig deeper in your case. If you don't want people digging deeper, just don't speak about it, bro. So, boy, Big Act News, makes you like, comment, subscribe, and I'm out.